Let's ignore that. So this is my first ever live on TikTok. I have no idea what I'm doing, so if you are here, wow, there's quite a few of you here. I did not expect any of that. What I would like to do is, so my expertise are in artificial intelligence and business. I help people to set up their own businesses using AI, or to grow a business that already exists. I write a newsletter that goes out every day that goes to about 50,000 people. If you have a business idea, or you have an existing business, then I'd like to invite you to comment with whatever that business is, and I can give advice on how you can start to use AI in that business. Or if you're just looking to start a business and you have no idea where to start, that's also something I can help with. You just give me your business idea and I would help you work out what that would look like, setting up as a business, and how you would integrate AI into that. So that's what I wanted to use these lives for. No idea how that works. I also do lives on X and YouTube. Those are more structured where I just talk, but I wanted to make these TikTok ones more interactive. So if there is anything that people want to send my way, please drop it in the comment. Otherwise, I'll just talk about something. I'm quite good at that, apparently. So I actually gave a live earlier today. Let me see if I can add this. Here we go. I've done a prompt engineering course and I'm a content designer. What type of content do you design? Is it content for, is it written content for social media or graphic content? But generally, here we go. Government services. Can you give me some more context? UK government service. Sorry, this is a very bitty way for you to give me information, but this UK government services, content, gov.uk pages. Now that's really interesting. I know that the UK government were looking at putting an AI chatbot on the gov pages, because I know there's so many government web pages and there's a huge amount of information on there, really good information, but it's hard to find sometimes. So I know they were investigating using an AI chatbot. So your specific question though, I've done a prompt engineering course and I'm a content designer. Any suggestions? I would say with this, so when I go and talk to corporations and NGOs, a lot of time there is concern about using AI generated content in those settings because of regulations. That might be the case with the government. So I'd have to definitely look at you'd have to definitely look at their rules and regulations. They may not have any yet. A lot of governments and non-government organizations and corporations are still struggling, is a nice way to put it. They're struggling to work out how AI content can be put into their workflow. This has led to something called shadow IT, where a lot of people are just using ChatGPT on the side and they're not really telling their bosses. I imagine it's fairly similar. So if you are going to be using any sort of AI for designing government pages or any government content, definitely check what their policies are on that to see if you can get in trouble. And if they don't have any policies, you might want to become an evangelist within your department or within your team, within your sector, to see if you can get them involved with using AI to help generate or at least edit the content. Oh, who's this? This is DC Brad 925. Because of your page, I'm completely submersed in AI content and want to pursue a career in it. What do you mean by AI content here? As in creating content? Like videos and newsletters and stuff? Because there's definitely a market for it. I can tell you a little bit about my journey. So at the beginning of 2023, I had a digital marketing company. I still have it technically, but we lost. Here we go. Utilizing AI for applications within finance. Okay, let me think about that. Pursue a career in it. Applications within finance. So if you work in finance already, what I would look at doing is seeing if you can create a GPT wrapper. So there's a really good service called Bubble. So it's bubble.io. Bubble.io allows you to create no-code applications. So you don't need to be able to code, you just kind of connect pieces together. And Bubble lets you do that with ChatGPT. So you can pull in information from ChatGPT or any other API. So it could be Claude, it could be Perplexity. generally you'll use ChatGPT, but you can then create an application for the financial services using bubble.io. Even if you don't know how to code, connect it into ChatGPT for anything that requires AI. I actually, a few weeks ago, or maybe a month or two ago, created a whole playbook on that. If you go to Prompt Entrepreneur, my blog, you should be able to find one. It's called, I'm not sure what it's called. It's probably called Custom GPTs. If you have a look around, you'll probably find something there, and that should be able to help you. Yeah, Claude is great. If you're in the UK or the US, it's not available in Europe or Canada, I found out recently, which is very annoying. Not that I'm Canadian, as you can probably tell. Just Jim says, do you use AI in combination with automation platforms? Yes, absolutely. So ChatGPT works really well with Zapier, or you can use make.com. If you're doing kind of a basic linear flow, so this connects to this, connects to this, connects to this, then Zapier is good. If you want something a bit more complex, then make.com gives you more control over that workflow, but it has a steeper learning curve. So I generally recommend people start with Zapier, get used to using Zapier, and then look at make.com, and that's probably going to be enough. And they both integrate with ChatGPT. So sorry, DC Brad, the bubble.io, that's what you really want to check out. And there's a guy called Dan Kulkov, that's Kulkov. Dan Kulkov, he wrote it's a course. I think it's quite affordable. It's about $100, and I think it's called, if you look up Dan Kulkov GPT wrappers, as in WRAPPERS, that should show up for you, and that shows you how to build an app from scratch using bubble.io and ChatGPT. This is all very overwhelming for me. I've never been live on TikTok, so there's a lot of stuff being flashed at me. Number one member of the team. Bro, you're the best. Thank you. Claude's my favourite. Yeah, so just Jim, Zapier and make.com are going to be your best bets there. You can do more complex stuff if you are, like I've just said to DC Brad, if you are wanting to create your own ChatGPT wrapper, then you can do a lot more complex things. But what I would say is start with working out what the actual use case is, which involves, talking to people who are actually going to use it. Work out what they need first and start from that as your basis, rather than, oh, I can do this and this and this and this. Like, keep your product extremely simple initially, and automate stage by stage, adding features as you go along. Because if you're anything like me, I tend to get too excited and want to add all the features in the world straight off the bat, whereas it's better to stay simple, automate one thing at a time, make sure that works, make sure that is useful, and then build from there. I genuinely have no idea what any of the things on this live do. It's told me to reach for the stars, star comment. I've got some unicorn and some bears. It's a lot. An agency head-to-head knockout, League D5. I work in tech and I do a lot of tech stuff, and this interface to me is confusing. Lost in Arabia. Okay, well, I'm going to be learning. The main thing is I just wanted to come on and try out TikTok Live for the first time. What I'm trying to do using a platform called repurpose.io, restream.io, I can go live on YouTube, TikTok, X, LinkedIn, all at the same time. So that is going to be the goal. However, I can only do that with a PC. I can't do that on a mobile phone. So I need to set up a PC first because I'm a Mac boy, and that's all a lot of hassle, to be honest. But once I do that, I'm hoping to do a lot more of these lives, which will include things like going through the news, the AI news of the day, because AI moves so damn quickly. I tried to go on holiday last week and we just got bombarded with new AI news. So I'd like to have a show, where I come on and I talk for 20 minutes or so and go through the news with you all and show you what's important, what's not important, what's actually going to be impactful on people who are using AI day to day, and then what is more kind of high level stuff that you don't really need to worry about right now. That will be the idea later, is to do those kind of lives, and then also to answer questions. But obviously when there's only a handful of people, there aren't that many questions, and then I have to end up just kind of chatting, which I don't mind. I've had so many coffees today. Actually, I spent all this morning chatting with a guy called Rob Dix, Dix. He has the biggest property podcast in the UK. Some of you might know him if you are from the UK. So he talks about property investment, and he's been doing that podcast for over 10 years. And we sat down and we talked about podcasts. We talked about business, and I've convinced him to do some lives like this. So hopefully we'll be seeing him here as well soon. How much Python do you need to work with AI? You do not need to know Python to work with AI. Basically, there are different levels of abstraction. If you want to build AI models from scratch, yes, you need to know how to code. You need to be a computer scientist. You need Python, if not a lot more. You need to know how to build Vercel databases and stuff like that. There's a lot of requirements if you want to build AIs from scratch. However, if you're just trying to deploy existing models, which is what most of us will do, if you want to deploy it on your own system, you might need some Python or some basic knowledge in order to get that working. If you want to connect to the API, so the application protocol linkage, it's a way to connect different softwares together. You do not need to be able to code. So what I was just saying previously to, I think it was Brad, DC Brad, you can use no-code tools. So things like bubble.io connects directly into the ChatGPT API, and it allows you to call on ChatGPT from your application without you having to be able to code. Being able to code is always going to be helpful. It's a great skill in general, and if you want to get deeper into software development, it's going to be required. However, if you're just starting out and you want to build an AI app, you do not need to be able to code in Python. What I would say is it's better to focus on building something quickly using a no-code application like Bubble, deploying it, seeing if people actually want it, seeing if people will pay you for it if you're starting a business. And then if that is true, then you can hire coders, or you can spend your time learning how to code so you can make a more robust version of it. But if you spend the next 2 or 3 years learning how to use Python just to deploy an AI application, it's kind of wasted time that could have been spent on building a business. You can always hire developers, but what you need to do first is work out what business or what application you're going to build using that knowledge. So short answer, no, you do not need to know any Python. It's good to know, but it's not required because of no code. Long answer, build something valuable first, then either learn to code or just hire coders once you know you have product market fit. Opinion on AWS versus Azure. I prefer AWS. I've never really used the Microsoft systems, but I don't know enough about Azure to answer that, to be honest, because I've always used AWS. I hear Azure is good, especially in enterprise environments, and things like ChatGPT is actually built on Azure, which is fascinating. Basically, there's this weird burger where Microsoft own 49% of OpenAI, the company makes ChatGPT. So there's this weird linkage where everything is built on Azure. That's the kind of servers and the supercomputers at the bottom layer. ChatGPT is built on that, so it relies on the Microsoft servers. And then Microsoft's own AI, Copilot, is built on top of ChatGPT. So you end up with Microsoft, OpenAI, Microsoft, this weird kind of burger where they're all very interlinked. Obviously, ChatGPT is using Azure. There's good reasons for that. I prefer AWS, but this is one of those questions where people who build coders will argue. I mean, you ask 100 coders, you're going to get 100 different answers. I would say try them, see what works for you, to be honest. And again, the most important thing is building something that your customers or your users want. And ultimately, your users don't really care what infrastructure you've built on. As long as they can log in and it doesn't crash, they don't really care, honestly. But to invest to build AI app, you need 500,000. No, so build first on bubble.io. So build a no-code version of the app. You definitely don't need to build from scratch. And once you've built your minimum viability product, your MVP, in Bubble, once you've found that people want to use it, then you can go and raise cash and hire investors. Then you might be talking about getting 500,000, but first work out whether people want it or not. Or up to you. You can just stick AI. You can stick AI in any pitch deck and go and raise some money as well. Lots of people are doing that right now. It's the magic word. But yeah, if you want to build, I've dropped stuff. If you want to build from scratch, you don't need money right now. That's one of the great things about AI. It is lowering the barriers to entry. It's giving the tools back to normal people who want to create something. It's allowing increasingly normal people to create applications and code without necessarily having to be full-time coders themselves. Especially when we use Bubble. Bubble.io I use personally. I'm not affiliated with them. I'm not advertising for them. It's just a really good application. And again, earlier I mentioned a course by Dan Kulkov, Kulkov. Again, no affiliation, but he wrote a really good course on how to build AI apps, AI app wrappers using Bubble.ai and ChatGPT. I really should get his affiliate link. Okay, I am going to wrap it up because I have a very important date. I have to go and play board games. I do board games here in South London, and I have a board game evening this evening, so I'm going to hop off. This has been my first live just to try it out, and it's been very interesting. I will be trying to do more of these. I'm going to have more structure, work out what I want to use these for, but hopefully a few of you, Wego and Brad and Let's Be Nice. Hopefully I've been able to help you a little bit just in these last 20 minutes. So yeah, thank you. Nice to meet you too, Christos and Aaron. Thanks, guys.